What if 7 simple habits could put $10,000 back in your pocket this year? While most Americans struggle with rising costs and mounting debt, there's a community that saves 20% of their income without even trying. The Amish have mastered financial habits that modern families desperately need. These aren't extreme sacrifices, they're practical choices that add up to massive saving. Habit 1. Cooking everything from scratch. The average American family spends over $3,000 annually on processed and convenience foods, but Amish families spend less than $500 on the same meals by cooking everything from scratch. This isn't just about making bread, it's a complete transformation of how food gets to your table. Amish women purchase basic staples like flour, sugar, oats, and dried beans in 50-pound bags, getting quantity discounts that can cut food costs by 60% or more. Instead of buying boxed cereals for $6, they make oatmeal from bulk oats costing 30 cents per serving each. They create hearty stews and casseroles for under $2 per serving. The time investment pays enormous dividends. While cooking from scratch requires more preparation, Amish families cook in large batches, preparing multiple meals at once and preserving extras for later use. They make their own bread, noodles, soups, and condiments using simple ingredients that cost a fraction of store-bought alternatives. This approach eliminates the markup that food manufacturers charge for processing, packaging, and marketing. When you buy crackers, you're paying for the factory, advertising. Fans make crackers at home, they pay only for basic ingredients: flour, salt, and oil. Habit 2. Growing your own food. Even small Amish properties produce an astounding amount of food through intensive gardening methods that maximize every square foot of growing space. The average suburban lawn could easily produce $1,500 worth of vegetables and herbs annually with proper planning. Amish families grow everything from basic vegetables like tomatoes, beans, and squash to herbs, berries, and small fruit trees, naturally controlling pests, eliminating the need for expensive fertilizers and pesticides that can cost hundreds of dollars per season. The preservation aspect multiplies these savings exponentially. Instead of buying canned vegetables at premium prices year-round, Amish women spend late summer and fall canning, drying, and preserving their harvest. A $20 investment in canning supplies can preserve hundreds of dollars worth of vegetables for winter consumption. Root vegetables like potatoes, carrots, and onions get stored in cool cellars, providing fresh produce through winter months when store prices peak. Herbs grown and dried at home replace expensive spice rack purchases that can cost $50 or more annually. Apartment dwellers can participate through container gardening, growing high-value herbs and small vegetables on balconies or sunny windowsills. A small herb garden producing basil, cilantro, measurable value beyond mere cost savings. Habit 3. Thrift and salvage shopping. Amish communities have mastered the art of finding quality goods at fraction of retail prices through a sophisticated network of thrift stores, salvage shops, auctions, and what they call bent and dent stores. This isn't about buying junk, it's about recognizing that most items lose 70% of their value the moment they leave the store, regardless of their actual condition or usefulness. Bent and dent grocery stores, also known as salvage stores, offer name-brand foods with slightly damaged packaging at 50 to 70% discounts, and household appliances. Rather than immediately replacing broken items, trades, who can fix most problems for the cost of materials and perhaps a shared meal. This approach keeps useful items in service for decades rather than years. Even when new purchases become necessary, Amish families research thoroughly and buy quality items that will last. A tool that lasts 20 years costs less than buying 5 cheap tools that break within 4 years each. This mindset requires shifting from immediate gratification to long-term value thinking, but the financial benefits compound dramatically over time. Habit 4. No credit cards or debt. The most revolutionary aspect of Amish financial management is their complete rejection of consumer debt and credit-based purchasing. While the average American household carries over $6,000 in credit card debt at interest rates exceeding 20%, Amish families pay cash for everything and avoid interest payments entirely. This cash-only approach forces natural spending discipline that credit cards actively undermine. When you must count out actual bills for a purchase, the psychological impact makes you reconsider whether you really need that item. Credit cards create an artificial disconnect between spending and payment that leads to overspending on unnecessary purchases. The mathematics of debt avoidance are staggering. A family carrying typical American consumer debt pays over $1,200 annually just in interest charges, money that creates no value and provides no benefit. Amish families avoid this expense completely while building wealth through systematic saving rather than systematic borrowing. Instead of financing purchases through credit, Amish families save money specifically for planned expenses. They practice delayed gratification by setting aside funds over time rather than buying immediately and paying later. This approach often results in better purchasing decisions because the waiting period allows time to research alternatives or reconsider whether the purchase is actually necessary. Their savings rate averages around 20% of income compared to the American average of 5%. This difference doesn't result from higher incomes but from lower expenses and disciplined spending habits. Every dollar not paid in interest or financing charges becomes available for savings or essential purchases. The debt-free lifestyle also provides tremendous psychological benefits through reduced financial stress and increased security. Without monthly debt payments consuming income, families have more flexibility to handle unexpected expenses or take advantage of opportunities that require cash. Emergency funds become possible when money isn't tied up in debt payments, creating a positive cycle where financial stability increases over time rather than decreasing through accumulated interest charges. Habit 5. Simple wardrobe. Amish clothing philosophy centers on functionality, durability, and simplicity rather than fashion trends or brand prestige. This approach eliminates the constant pressure to update wardrobes seasonally and reduces clothing expenses to a fraction of typical American spending. The average American household spends over $1,200 annually on clothing, much of it driven by fast fashion and style changes that make perfectly functional clothes seem outdated. Amish families spend less than $300 yearly on clothing by focusing on well-made, practical garments. Their wardrobe consists of a limited number of high-quality pieces that can be mixed and matched easily. Men typically own several shirts, pants, and work clothes in similar style. Women have dresses for different occasions, but all following the same basic pattern. This uniformity eliminates decision fatigue while ensuring everything coordinates properly. Many clothing items are handmade using traditional sewing skills passed down through generations. The cost of fabric and notions for a homemade dress or shirt is typically one-fourth the price of comparable ready-made clothing, while often exceeding store-bought quality through superior construction techniques. Clothing repairs and alterations extend the useful life of garments significantly beyond what most Americans expect. Buttons get replaced, seams get mended, and items get altered to fit different family members as needed. This maintenance approach keeps clothes functional for years rather than seasons. Quality footwear receives similar treatment, with good boots and shoes being resoled and repaired multiple times rather than replaced annually. Habit 6. Energy independence. Amish communities dramatically reduce household energy costs through alternative methods that eliminate or minimize dependence on electric utilities and gas companies. While complete energy independence may not be practical for most modern families, adopting portions of their approach creates substantial savings. Line drying clothes represents the most accessible energy-saving practice with immediate results. The average household spends $120 annually running electric or gas dryers, while line drying costs nothing beyond initial clothesline installation. Additionally, line-dried clothes last longer because heat cycles gradually break down fabric fibers. Heating strategies focus on passive methods rather than mechanical systems. Amish homes use strategic window placement, insulation, and thermal mass to maintain comfortable temperatures naturally. They heat with wood stoves that provide both warmth and cooking capabilities, often using wood from their own property. Lighting comes from oil lamps, candles, and natural daylight rather than electric fixtures. While modern families might not completely eliminate electric lighting, reducing usage through strategic planning and energy-efficient bulbs can cut lighting costs by 50% or more. Water heating uses wood-fired systems or solar heating methods that eliminate monthly water heating bills, averaging $200 negative $400 annually in typical households. Solar water heating systems pay for themselves within 3 to 5 years while providing decades of free hot water. These energy-independent practices also provide security during power outages and protection from utility rate increases that consistently outpace general inflation rates. Habit 7. Community resource sharing. Amish communities operate sophisticated sharing systems that dramatically reduce individual household expenses by providing access to expensive tools, equipment, and services without requiring every family to purchase everything independently. This cooperative approach challenges the assumption that ownership is always better than sharing. Tool sharing represents the most practical application for modern families. Instead of every household owning power tools, lawn equipment, and specialized items used occasionally, Amish communities maintain shared resources that members can borrow as needed. A quality table saw costing $800 can serve 20 families rather than requiring 20 separate purchases. Skill sharing eliminates the need to hire expensive professionals for many tasks. Community members develop expertise in different areas: carpentry, plumbing, electrical work, mechanical repairs, then trade services rather than hiring contractors. A plumber helps with electrical work in exchange for carpentry assistance. Group purchasing leverages collective buying power to access wholesale prices normally available only to businesses. 20 families ordering lumber together can often negotiate prices 30 to 40% below retail rates. Bulk purchasing of non-perishable goods works similarly. Equipment sharing extends beyond tools to include vehicles, farm machinery, and other expensive items that sit idle most of the time in typical households. Why should every family own a pickup truck used twice monthly when 3 families could share one truck and split costs? This approach requires trust, communication, and commitment to mutual support, but the financial benefits can easily save thousands annually. How it adds up to $10,000 plus. When you combine all 7 Amish-inspired habits, the annual savings potential becomes truly impressive for any modern household willing to make these practical changes. Cooking from scratch can save between $2,500 and $3,000 annually by eliminating processed foods and restaurant meals while buying basic ingredients at wholesale prices. Growing your own food adds another $1,500 to $2,000 through vegetable garden production, preservation techniques, and herb growing with seasonal storage methods. Thrift and salvage shopping contributes $1,200 to $1,800 by finding quality used goods at a fraction of retail prices and adopting a repair-first mentality that extends product lifespans significantly. Eliminating credit cards and debt saves $1,000 to $1,500 by avoiding interest payments and financing charges while increasing savings through cash-only discipline. Maintaining a simple wardrobe saves $800 to $1,200 by choosing functional clothing over fashion trends and investing in quality pieces that last years instead of seasons. Energy independence reduces costs by $1,500 to $2,000 through alternative methods like line drying and efficient heating and cooling strategies. Community resource sharing rounds out the savings with $1,000 to $1,500 through shared tools and equipment costs, plus skill bartering that eliminates expensive contractor expenses. Conservative estimates total $9,500 annually, while aggressive implementation could save $12,000 or more each year. Modern applications. Adapting Amish financial habits for contemporary life doesn't require abandoning modern conveniences or joining their religious community. Start with the easiest implementations and gradually expand your money-saving practices. Urban families can begin with container gardening, batch cooking, and shopping thrift stores before attempting more complex changes. Suburban households have more opportunities for food production and energy savings through gardening and line-drying clothes. Modern safety standards and building codes may require modifications to traditional methods, but the underlying principles remain sound. Solar panels replace wood heating, community gardens supplement individual plots, and car-sharing services provide alternatives to individual ownership. The goal isn't replicating Amish life exactly, but adopting their mindset of resourcefulness, community cooperation, and long-term financial thinking.